Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre. Waking up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day that you watch this video, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. And it says, if you believe you can, you are right. If you believe you can't, you are right. Whatever it is that you believe is what is true. And I say that to say, if you mentalities. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about mentalities and how the rich dad had a certain mentality and the poor dad had a certain mentality. And everybody's family is fucked up, right? Everybody's family has issues. Nobody's family is perfect. I, in my family, had the mentality, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to be frugal. You have to improvise. You like scarcity mentality. And growing up, I'm 35, right? Growing up in that mentality, I have believed over and over and over again and being told over and over and over again, money doesn't grow on trees. Why do you think I have it like that? Like the scarcity mentality was embedded into my mind. And so as an adult, reading personal development books, understanding the law of attraction, which is a universal law, understanding thoughts become things, and slowly debunking and decluttering all of the lies that I've believed, because these are the things systematically and historically and generationally I was taught. And we tend to believe that, if it's not one thing, it's another. And my grandfather used to have this saying, if you didn't have bills, life would be great. Everybody on earth has bills. Even the man who lives in the middle of the woods still has a bill. He still has to feed himself. That's still a bill. And just coming over that mentality. And I was having a conversation and it was like, I only can influence so much. I don't have that much influence. But it got me thinking about mentors. And when I was younger, I had a mentor. I was in the system. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I was in the foster care system for a short period of time before my grandmother came and saved me. I was in the foster care system. And while I was in the foster care system, I had a mentor that came and sat with me and talked to me. And I remember like those times that we spent together and how memorable that influence was, even though it was once a week during a short period that I was in foster care. I still remember that. And I remember how much of that influence, even though it was a short period of time, but how dedicated that individual was to this set guideline. And I say that to say we limit our abilities and we limit our power with the words that we use, by our actions, and by the thoughts that we believe. You limit your power when you believe if it's not one thing, it's always another. Shit is always happening to me. I can never catch a break. I can never, you do not understand how powerful and how destructive this self-talk is when this is the shit that you say to yourself on a daily basis. When this was the conversations that you were having with your parents on a regular basis, you do not understand how generationally destructive these small phrases are. And even if you have no desire on being a millionaire or a billionaire, you just want to be comfortable. You just want to live life. You just want to be a granddaddy or a grandmother. You just want to live a peaceful, blissful, joyful life. That alone, those little sayings, you're setting your grandchildren up for failure by repeating those things and catching yourself. I am not the most positive person on earth. I am not I'm not Buddha. I'm not Allah. I'm not Krishna. I'm not God. I'm not Christ. I'm not the sacred cows of India. I catch myself every single day, at least 100 times a day. I really don't want that to happen. I have a fear. This is a recreating fear. I think about this fear all the time. I have to stop myself dead in my tracks every single day. The minute I realize I'm thinking some shit that I really don't want to happen. Every single time. All of the time. Regardless of what it is. If it's financial, damn, I'm gonna end up owing this bill and I have to rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, no. I have no idea where this money is going to come from. I am grateful that all my bills are paid. Well, Tayla, I'm lying. Well, you know what? It's called acting. You have to pretend. Anari sent me a meme, or Saria sent me the meme the other day. It was just like, you have to pretend you're asleep every time you go to sleep. At least for kids, at least for the youngsters. They have to pretend like they're asleep. Go to sleep. How you go to sleep if I'm not tired? Pretend like you sleep. And that's basically, and that they were joking about that. Like, they were joking about, Mommy used to tell us to pretend we were asleep. And then up and recreates a meme that's like, you have to pretend you're asleep in order to fall asleep. You have to close your eyes and, like, pretend you're sleeping. You have to, in a sense, pretend. And I want you to think about every single time. And if you don't do this already, make a journal for all of those pressing times, the most stressful times, the craziest times. And you write in your journal. And I've talked about this plenty of times of how when I go back in my journal and I'm like, oh my God, what with me? What with me? I don't know. And then I'm reading it like, yo, what happened? Like, what was this traumatizing experiences that I was going through that 6 months down the line, I can't even remember. I don't even remember why I felt like the world was coming to an end. The sky is falling. And we have created and conditioned ourselves. That was the word I was looking for. We have conditioned ourselves to believe that the sky is falling every time something takes place that doesn't go our way. And even if you have to pretend like, I don't know where this money is coming from, but it'll happen. It always works itself out. You are like the sparrows of the barn. You don't have to wonder where your food is going to come from. One way or another, you are continuously blessed. True or false? You might not have all your problems. You might still have debt. You still might have student loans. You might have to make a payment arrangement with T-Mobile. But at the end of the day, your phone's still on, your light's still on, your gas still on, you still have food. But at the end of the day, you still were able to make it work. It still worked out one way or another. And I don't know why we press ourselves and we stress ourselves and we mentally work ourselves into a fuss, instead of just woo-sawing, relaxing, and just being fluid and letting things flow into our life and understand, like, there are so many of us that are so stressed out on a regular basis, and we take it out on everyone. Seriously? How many times were you stressed out about some shit that you had absolutely no control? It's one thing if you can control it, and you lost control and you're like, damn, I could have done XYZ differently. But even harping on yourself, this, again, I'm not perfect. I am speaking from experience. I am talking to you because this is the shit that I go through on a regular basis. And if I'm going through it, somebody else is going through it too. You have to catch yourself in the moment that you think those thoughts. In the moment that you think, like, I have to catch myself. We live in the city of Boston. I live in Roxbury. I live in the heart of Roxbury. I live in Dudley. My kids take the bus to and from school. I am terrified every single fucking day about making sure my daughter doesn't get picked up by a rapist and my son doesn't accidentally get pulled over by a police officer who thinks because he's 15 with a mustache and a little bit of swag, thinks he's a grown-ass man. These are things that I have to stop myself from thinking every single day. Every day, at least twice a day. When they go to school and when they come home, I have to catch myself in the moment. Every time. I have to catch myself in a moment when I'm thinking about, the kids need to go to college. At least Asaria wants to go to college, and Ari doesn't, but Asaria wants to go to college. In college, I'm myself in XYZ debt. Like, how am I going to make this work? Tayla, woosah. Like, it'll figure itself out. It'll work out the way it's supposed to. Stop me. Like, I'm stressed out about Asari's 13. She's not going to college for at least another 5 years. Like, how, and me being worried about 5 years from now, making my day better today, making my life better right now. It's not. That's how you get gray hairs. That's how you get, and then now you start talking about your mental health and how your mental health affects your physical health, and how your physical health, you get tumors, there's a whole long list of health issues that you can get based on what you're stressed out about. I'm not a doctor. I just read a little bit, I know a little bit about a lot of shit, and it has scientifically been proven that depending on your stress, depending on how you worry, like that affects your whole entire body, from acne to hair growth down to what's it called? Ulcers, heart attacks. All of that is affected by your mental health. And not just mental health is like, oh, I'm sad, I want to commit suicide, but mental health as far as what are you saying? And a lot of us take mental health as like certified, crazy, on medication, but we don't understand that a lot of our mental health issues come from being in a household with a mother and a father that had the same mental health issues, as far as the fears and the lacks and the despair and the just everything that we as people, humans, then I can go ahead and break it down if you want to talk about those that have been unjustly wrongly done over the years, whether it's black, brown, Japanese, like there's a slew of us out here that been done unjustly. But as humans, we have, and DNA has proven that our DNA has the carbon copy of our ancestors' fears, the carbon copy of our ancestors' disparities, their everything, their traumas. Don't believe me, go do your own due diligence. Their traumas are in our DNA. And we have vicarious trauma through our DNA from our ancestors. When do you cut that out? When do you end that? When do you reprogram? And scientifically, it's been proven that you can reprogram. Just like every 30 days, your cells regenerate. Just like every 30 days, depending on what you eat, you recreate yourself. You recreate your organs. You recreate your liver. You recreate your skin cells. All of your entire body is recreated depending upon what you ate in the last 30 days, what you drank in the last 30 days. What are you thinking in the last 30 days? How do you recreate your mental? How do you starve the lack mentality? How do you starve the fear? How do you starve that part of you that you no longer want? We just came out of a new moon. A new moon is when you create a new within you. Our whole life, our whole universe, our whole solar system recreates itself every rotation. So why do we believe that we're any different? Thoughts become things. As a man thinketh, so he is. And I am so frustrated with our mentality of lack. And the only way to you can't succumb to it. You have to stop it in its tracks. You have to stop those thoughts immediately as soon as they come. As soon as you realize or recognize you are thinking of a traumatic, or, I have moments of embarrassment where I'll think of something that happened in the past and I'll be just as embarrassed as the moment it happened. Or I'll be as mad as the moment in which it happened. And I'm feeling like that feeling, that recreative feeling, I have to stop it right in its track and be like, yo, you know what I want to create? I want to create the feeling of me walking into my house, the house that I built from the ground up. What does that look like? I want to recreate the feeling of me sitting in my Maserati truck. I want to recreate the feeling like you have to it. I don't have a Maserati truck, but I'm gonna recreate that feeling until I do, until I'm sitting in my Tesla truck with the butterfly, the suicide doors. I'm going to recreate the feeling of me walking through my marble heated floors. I'm going to recreate the feeling of my double circular shaped stairs. I'm in love with stairs. I am so in love with stairs. I have no idea where this came from. Actually, I do. I know exactly where this came from. Going back to traumas, going back to past, my mom lives in a ranch. And when my parents purchased their house, they purchased a ranch. So it was just one floor. And so I will never, like, even if I need somebody to carry me up the motherfucking stairs, even if I need like the clap on, you guys remember the commercials, like the motor chair, go up and down the stairs. Like, even if I need one of those in my old age, I will never have a damn ranch because my past traumas won't let me have a ranch. So as an adult, I'm in love with stairs. And it's because I never had stairs as a child. What is it? And this is a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer, but I want you to sit and think when you pray or when you meditate or sitting in your car. Just shut off the radio and really think about what are your past traumas. And it doesn't have to be a traumatizing experience like, oh, somebody was shot and now I like it could be a trauma like my mother used to say, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, you got to make it work. You got to improvise. You got to, no, you don't. Not forever, maybe temporarily, but I refuse to live my life in this manner. Not gonna happen. You don't have to stand. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I'm not standing for the mentality that my parents had. I am not standing for the lack. I am not standing for the fear. I'm not a no. And even if the day I die, I'm still battling these past traumas, I can guarantee you my children will not. They'll have other traumas that they'll have to overcome. But what I went through, no. And that's what legacy is about, right? Legacy isn't about just paper. Legacy isn't about what you leave your children on paper. Legacy isn't what you leave your children as far as materialistic things. That legacy, that mentality, that belief system, that strength, that honor, that pride, for me, that's what matters. Who am I mentally leaving behind? Who am I emotionally leaving behind? My son said tonight, he said, I think you're going to have to whoop Rain. I said, why you say that? He said, because my friends are out here doing crazy stuff. He said, Mommy, my friends out here smoking weed. They're having sex. My friends are out here going to parties, drinking, daggering. My friends are out here doing stuff. I know you would kill me. They'd be like, come on, Ari, come on, Ari. He said, no, because I like life. Do you know who Tayla Andre is? And in that moment, at 15 years old, he didn't have to be 25 with a child. He didn't have to be 40 with kids for him to say, you know what? I don't like it when you whoop my ass, but I understand how you raised me and who you raised me to be. And I understand that it was necessary at that time to make me the person I am today. And I have to say, of 2019, that is probably by far one of the proudest moments from Anari. Asaria, I have other proud moments with her. But as far as Anari's concerned, for him to say, you're going to have to whip Rain. And I believe you should whip Rain. Because that's what's going to keep him in line. That's what's going to keep him from going out with his friends, smoking weed, drinking, and having sex. When he shouldn't be. What are you leaving behind? What mentality are you combating? What are you fighting every day? And make sure you, even if you have that, and that's what I'm learning about meditation. It's not about not having thoughts, it's about being able to recognize. It's not about controlling thoughts. It's about being able to recognize the thoughts that you have and redirecting them. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I didn't even like read any of the comments. I'm so sorry. Um, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I'll read the comments in my downtime, but I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you want to share this, please do. I feel 100% better. Just in case you don't know, sometimes I may talk to y'all crazy. 9 times out of 10, the live end, I'll rewatch it. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Tayla. You're just watching on the sidelines. And that's the truth. I sometimes have to talk to myself this way. Sometimes you better, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, sometimes you gotta talk to yourself crazy because sometimes you gotta talk to yourself crazy. You have to reaffirm who you are. And sometimes you be so lost in society and so lost in what other people told you you were and what you had to be that you have to remind yourself of who, like, who are you? Good night. So we're not gonna end? And I guess we just gonna sit here and look at each other because this thing don't want to end. And I'm pressing stop. Lord of mercy. Anybody got any suggestions? I like this live. You better not. Don't do it. How I say, okay. Lord, I should have just did it on my phone. I knew better. I knew better. We just gonna stare at each other, I guess. Oh, Lord. Isn't it like shift, command, delete? Thank you. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry.